This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
It's really big news. It's really, really big news.
The national average could get close to that $4 a gallon mark in the next week or 10 days.
So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Preview of coming attractions. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. President Trump at the White House today teasing a Thursday night primetime address.
It's really big news. It's really, really big news. Our country has to shape up.
As for what he'll talk about, he didn't bury the lead.
What we're going to be talking about Thursday, it doesn't get bigger because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement.
So the voter ID law, as well as the state of renewed fighting with Iran, expected to dominate that Trump talk on Thursday night. The U.S. has resumed a naval blockade of Iran this afternoon, carrying out a new round of strikes ahead of it. NBC's Keir Simmons.
U.S. Central Command saying the 5-hour mission struck military targets, including coastal defense systems and missile and drone sites. Also hit Bandar Abbas, Iran's key port in the Strait of Hormuz.
Trump is walking back plans to charge a 20% toll fee on cargo lines that use the strait, saying it will be replaced by investment deals that the various Gulf states will be making into the U.S. The recent ceasefire did help bring gas prices that we pay here down, but with that fighting renewed,
I do fully expect that the national average could get close to that $4 a gallon mark in the next week or 10 days.
That's Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan. Speaking of driving, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is looking into possible issues with a very popular minivan.
NHTSA has opened a new probe into the airbags on the Honda Odyssey. The agency says airbags can deploy while the vans are in motion, leading to injuries, and that this could affect more than 800,000 Odysseys made between 2010 and 2017.
ABC's Mike Dubusky. Well, Supreme Court justices usually listen to testimony, but today a pair of the justices were testifying on Capitol Hill about their annual budget request to Congress. Justice Amy Coney Barrett.
Roughly 6 weeks ago, I was the victim of a swatting incident. At that point, one of my teenage sons, opened the door to go out with friends and saw in our street, it was full of police cars.
Justice Elena Kagan joined Barrett as they appeared before the House Appropriations Subcommittee, which handles Supreme Court spending. It marks the first time since 2019 that Supreme Court justices have testified on their annual budget request. The High Court is requesting a boost of over $14 million for the coming fiscal year to increase security for the 9 justices. Also on Capitol Hill today.
And that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter. So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Senator Chuck Grassley administering the oath of office to Darlene Graham, who will serve out the term of her late brother, Senator Lindsey Graham, who passed away unexpectedly this past weekend. Darlene Graham will serve in the Senate until an elected successor is sworn in January. ICE agents are being told to end most vehicle stops for the foreseeable future. This following a pair of recent ICE-related shootings involving vehicles. Maine Senator Angus King is calling for a full, transparent, and open investigation into yesterday's fatal shooting of a man by an ICE agent in Maine. The independent senator says he spoke to Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen and learned that there's apparently no body cam video of what happened.
We've been told that body cameras would be widely distributed. The secretary told me that they're on order, that they have been distributed widely across the country, but not everywhere, and apparently not in Biddeford, Maine.
DHS officials say the man drove in the direction of an agent yesterday, causing that agent to open fire, killing a 26-year-old man from Colombia who had legal status in the U.S. Public schools are taking on big tech. Family Life's Bob Price explains.
Yeah, Mark, a lawsuit demanding that social media companies pay for student mental health services is being filed by school districts nationwide. More than 1,000 districts argue that social media platforms harm students' mental health and force schools to spend more on counseling and support. Districts say they've also had to increase training to address rising student anxiety and depression linked to social media use. Bob Price, Family Life News.
All right, thank you, Bob. And a study by the American Bible Society finds reading the Bible has better self-care outcomes than exercise. Family Life's Sarah Harnish explains.
Not to get you a reason to skip the treadmill, but yes, reading the Bible resulted in outcomes that were better than exercising, meditating, or even spending time with friends. The State of the Bible report launched a study using a research team in Chicago and examined the impact of self-care activities, including exercising, volunteering, and praying on stress levels, anxiety, loneliness, and hope. Opening the Bible spiked the scores from 3 to 24. Sarah Harnish, Family Life News.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Still to come here on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories. Well-known Christian speaker Ron Hutchcraft is in the listening area with his Native American ministry. We'll hear from him. And a reminder that for first responders, there's really no such thing as off-duty. That's all coming up after weather.
Good evening. Here is the Family Life Weather Report. A classic case of summer sizzle across our entire region today from hilltop to lakeshore. We certainly had quite a bit of a breeze out there, too. It stays breezy into this evening. Temperatures will be slow to drop, especially in our urban locales. Overnight lows largely into the low and mid-70s. Coming up for tomorrow, more heat, more humidity, some haze as well. The high temperature in the upper 80s and low and mid 90s. It'll be hottest over central and northeastern Pennsylvania. As we head into Thursday, look for an ample amount of sunshine. Top temps will largely be into the middle and upper 80s. A few spots could be flirting with 90. And then on Friday, it's mostly sunny, the high into the 80s.
All right, thanks, Josh. Checking the stories, making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. New York today became the first state to enact a statewide moratorium on AI data centers. The one-year ban signed into law by Governor Kathy Hochul this morning.
We're going to explore having hyperscale data centers pay into a larger fund to support our grid statewide. We need to invest in this, help defray costs, reduce bills for our ratepayers.
The Democrat says no community should be forced to accept a data center against its will. A prominent former Western New York megachurch pastor has pleaded guilty to child sexual abuse involving 2 victims. 47-year-old John Camardo III was the former executive pastor at the chapel with 4 campuses around the Buffalo area. He also coached girls soccer in Amherst, New York, as recently as 2023. In a letter to members, church leaders say they cooperated with police as soon as they learned of allegations against Camardo. Former Erie County District Attorney John Flynn tells WIVB.
We have seen how this has hurt the Catholic diocese and the Catholic Church when it comes to being forthcoming about these instances. It just shows that they wanted to get ahead of the game here and cooperate.
Camardo's attorney, Barry Covert, tells WGRZ.
He has accepted complete responsibility. He did so very quickly. He is incredibly remorseful, and he's dedicated himself to making sure that nothing like this could ever happen again and bringing as much closure as he can to everyone around him.
Camardo faces a maximum of 8 years in prison when he's sentenced in September. One and done, the head of New York's second largest school district suddenly resigns. Dr. Pascal Mubenga served as superintendent of Buffalo Public Schools for less than a year, signing a 4-year contract in August of last year that paid him nearly $300,000 a year. Edward Spidell, president of the District Parent Coordinating Council, tells WKBW.
I'm just in shock. You know what? On a bingo card, we didn't see this coming. I'm disappointed because I always have hope when we hire a new superintendent. There's chaos going on right now. We don't know what it is, why he quit, why lawyers have all quit. Our children are the ones who are going to suffer from this.
The school board hasn't said why the superintendent resigned. Around the Keystone State now, more than $3 million in marijuana was seized during a traffic stop last week in Cumberland County, PA. 2 New Jersey men were arrested after Pennsylvania State Police pulled over a rented van traveling at speeds of nearly 100 miles an hour. A Westmoreland County, PA woman is facing public nuisance charges after it was learned she was keeping more than 80 pigs in and around her home. The charges, though, stem not from the pigs, but for the reported rat infestation that resulted from the presence of so much swine on her property. And back to Western New York, an area doctor has just climbed the tallest mountain in the world, and he did it just a week after running the Boston Marathon.
I talked to the trainers, and they're like, what are you thinking? You shouldn't be training for the Everest climb and training for a marathon at the same time. So listened very carefully and ignored them.
Dr. Dave Montesanti tells WGRZ scaling Everest was the most difficult thing he's ever done.
For me, Everest was the hardest thing, probably the hardest thing I've ever done when it comes to physical activity. And that 5-day push, 12,000 vertical feet at elevations going from 17 to 29,000 feet. Yeah, that was rough. That hit home. It was grueling.
The outdoor adventurist says he eventually wants to run a marathon in every state in under 4 hours. Up next, highlights from today's special Noon Report feature. More of the conversation our Bob Price had with evangelist Ron Hutchcraft about his ministry to Native Americans called On Eagle's Wings. This week, Ron and his team are visiting reservations in Western New York.
You've been doing this for over 3 decades. Those who are listening right now, who are not familiar at all with On Eagle's Wings, tell us a little bit what it is, how it works, and how it's been so successful through the years.
I've been in cross-cultural youth ministry my whole life, and a lot of urban ministry, suburban, all kinds of kids. I never knew about what a national report called the most devastated adolescents in America. Those are Native American young people. And I had no idea until about 30 years ago when God took me to the reservation to speak, and I learned about the kids who have, depending on the part of the country, somewhere between 3 to 7 times the suicide rate of any other young people in America. The rates of drug and alcohol addiction and sexual violence against women, missing and murdered women among Native Americans 10 times any other women in America. Sadly, those statistics are people to me, funerals I've gone to, and the first mission field in America was Native Americans. 400 years later, 4% know Christ, Bob.
That's amazing.
This is a Great Commission disaster.
Yeah.
Quite simply, when God broke my heart, God gave me a plan, too. That is that Native American young people had to be the messengers. And anybody who works with Native young people will tell you they don't listen to the tribe, they don't listen to older people, they don't listen to missionaries and pastors, but they will listen to people who share their life experience. So for over 30 years and on over 130 reservations, it's been my honor to go with walking miracles who have been brought to Christ and who have now become messengers of hope on reservations across North America. And we are in your area now.
Yep, you are. This week you are in Western New York. Us non-Native Americans, we think we know what life is like on the reservation. We've seen depictions in movies and books. But I wonder what the root cause of the generational poverty is, Ron. The unemployment, the substance abuse problems, alcoholism, drug addiction, you name it. Seems like on reservations, those numbers are a lot higher than anywhere else. What is the root cause of that?
Well, I wouldn't fancy myself that smart to be able to say that is the root cause. I can tell you how I think we got here. Quite simply, there has been a history of one loss after another. You're talking about a people who have lost their land, lost their language, in many cases, lost their lives. And there were 10 million indigenous people, they believe, when Columbus came. There were 200,000 of 10 million left in 1900. Think of that.
That's Ron Hutchcraft speaking with our Bob Price about his Native American ministry, On Eagle's Wings. You can hear the entire feature and all of our Family Life original news features at Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Sometimes grace chooses to absorb the cost. Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. In Philemon, Paul writes to a wealthy believer whose runaway servant, Onesimus, had become a Christian. Onesimus had wronged Philemon and may have owed him financially. So Paul appeals for reconciliation and writes, "If he has wronged you at all or owes you anything, charge that to my account. I will repay it." Paul uses the language of debt to pursue reconciliation. He is willing to absorb the cost so that a broken relationship can be restored. And that points us to the gospel. Christ took our debt upon himself so we could be reconciled to God. Faithful stewardship is not only about what we keep, sometimes it's about what we willingly bear for love. Manage your finances wisely with the easy-to-use FaithFi app. Download FaithFi, Faith and Finance from your app store, or learn more at faithfi.com.
Thank you, sir. Finally, at 5, one of the first things a first responder learns is that the term off-duty is a misnomer, because you're never truly off-duty when an emergency arises. It was the 4th of July when Midlothian, Texas firefighter and medic Jason Horn was out with his daughter on a local lake when panicked boaters began waving for help. A boat with 9 aboard had overturned, trapping children underneath. Horn, a father of 4 himself, tells KTVT,
"Kids are under there. You got to go get them. I mean, there's nothing to think about."
He dove in and swam to the boat, quickly pulling out one boy who was breathing. Then
I went directly back under the boat. I reached up again and I felt a leg. It was the little girl. She was unconscious, unresponsive. She wasn't breathing. Honestly, I couldn't tell if she had a pulse or not. And I climbed up there on top of the boat with her and I started doing compressions.
Then a bystander told him there was a third child still trapped. He dove right back under.
Had that little boy in my hand. Both of us got up on the front of the boat and I started doing CPR on that little boy.
All 3 kids survived, and Horn, in true hero fashion, wants no accolades. He says he's just grateful they all made it and that he was placed there at the time he was needed the most. And that's the world we live in for Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.